Welcome to the FPL USA Press Play Podcast. You got all three hosts huddled around their mics. We're strapped in for some midweek banter. Think it's going to be maybe a fun and boozy quick episode here. And I'm ready to dial in for some disappointment of a midweek filled with FPL pain. I'm Bucks. I'm joined by two of my besties. I got Black Wolf, aka Dan, and I got Chin, aka Brian. Lads, hope you're safe in California. How's everything?
Strap it in, strap it on, baby. We are just trying to avoid tsunamis out here in California. People getting evacuated out of office buildings in San Francisco. Crazy times. But lo and behold, like you said, this is going to be a quick and boozy one. I've already had a brewski. I got a tequila soda. I'm ready to pop off right now. We got some stuff to spout off about, talk some FPL, preview the weekend, and get the fuck out of here. So I'm doing well. Dan, talk to me, Goose.
Yeah, that tsunami thing today was pretty crazy, right? I got an Amber Alert on my phone saying, like, danger, and I was thinking there's a kidnapping or something, and then I saw tsunami on the way. I was like, what the fuck?
Truly bizarre.
Truly bizarre. But yeah, the games are coming thick and fast. It's rotation season, so there's a lot of pain going around today.
Oh, man. And some good bench wankery coming in straight off.
For some people, Brian.
Some people have 25 points on their bench. Half of those are coming in for me, but we'll get to my team in a few minutes. Bucks, you're a working lad. You're very busy. FPL has gone to the wayside. Let's start with you. How'd you do in game week 14?
I don't subscribe to that. I'm still trying my damn darndest here in FPL, and I'm just fucking it all up right now. I land on 51 points. I had basically three guys in my starting 11 all get surprise benchings. So I'm just actually fortunate, I feel like, with 51 points, that late Palmer goal with him as my captain. That really buoyed me from being, basically on the Titanic here with my FPL rank. So I take a red arrow right on the chin. And yeah, I'll have 3 free transfers going into game week 15,
Ooh.
Which again is coming as soon as this weekend.
Love that. And I'm not going to lie, whenever you roll your transfer, you're just hoping for like a gray dot or a small red arrow. And then you're really hoping to spring up the leaderboard once you use those free transfers. So I was in a similar position to you. I did get some luck this week. I end up on 65 points. I get a very small 8,000 red arrow to 115K. But some bad FPL manager moves. I benched Isak, his 11-pointer sitting first on my bench, and he was fucking incredible versus Liverpool. The first half that he put on, he was creating chances left and right, dribbling through the defense, setting up his teammates, and then just cuts in after a little pass, bangs in a rocket right in Van Dijk's face. Right in his face. Love to see that. 11 points, but on my bench. But I did have some luck because another 11-pointer sitting second on my bench from none other than 4.3 million pound Mikolenko. Oh, baby. Let me tell you, I was talking to Dan before the pod, and I was like, man, I went for Mikolenko while other managers just held their dicks in their hand and were enjoying 1-pointer after 1-pointer from Rico Lewis. Meanwhile, Mikolenko, cheaper than him, comes in with an 11-pointer, comes in with a 6-pointer. Oh, you love to see it. So
Okay.
Things are going all right.
This guy getting all the fucking luck. And I just want to say that the only one, Isak was great this game week, but I suck every game week. And Brian, you're the reverse of that coin. You are just absolutely in fuego this FPL season. I feel like you haven't made one step wrong pretty much since game week 3. So kudos to you. Well done. Dan, let's go to you. Let's flame our brother who's on his double high horse right now. Golly.
Yeah, I'm the middleman of the pod. My game weeks are like a roller coaster. This week it's a tiny red arrow. I'm pretty much 0 points away from the 1 million rank. So I'm like 1,100,000 or something. My biggest mistake this week was I was deciding who to bench between Bruno and Boomo, Wisa, Solanke, and Rogers. And of course, I picked Rogers to bench, and he was the only one that did anything. So I have Rodgers 8 points sitting on my bench, which would have gave me a green arrow. But I did get some luck with Trent Alexander-Arnold returning 2 assists from the bench, because all 3 of my defenders were benched this week, which was really sucky. I had Greaves coming on for Ipswich. I had Rico Lewis coming on for Man City. But then luckily, like I said, Trent came on and got those 2 assists. And I think we all made the mistake this week of captaining the wrong premium asset again, because it was once again Salah who was the top goal scorer on 18 points, and we all captained Cole Palmer, who, let's be honest, should have also finished on 18 points in that game.
Right.
Yeah, if not more. Chelsea, unfortunate to not bang double-digit goals past the Saints. They look like they might have done something illicit, because they're not getting any blessings this season, those Saints.
I mean, if you would have told me going into the game week that Chelsea won 5-1, I would have bet a really good amount of money that Cole Palmer had at least 12 fantasy points. So to come away with only 7 points, that one hurts. But Mo Salah, just absolutely insane form. 151 points through 14 game weeks, averaging over 10 points. You pull up his FPL screen and it's all double-digit hauls. It is just truly insane. So for me, probably just going to captain him for a while until he runs out of gas.
Yeah, it's the fastest ever FPL player to get to 150 points. He did it in only 14 game weeks. And to your point, Brian, I think in the last 9 game weeks, he has 7 double-digit hauls, and there's only really 1 true blank in those last 9 game weeks. So he's the most informed player in the game. It's back and good to be the king. And Salah is just dazzling on the pitch for Liverpool. He's saving them points and winning them matches. And he's doing the business for any FPL manager who just kind of forgot their login and set and forget their team with the captain's armband on Salah. They're probably comfortably full 2 million spots in the ranks higher than I am.
Is he a perma captain option now? That's something
You guys
to
laughed
discuss.
at me when I brought that up on the last episode.
We just laugh at you just in general, not because of what
That's
you
fair.
said.
Yeah,
I am funny looking, but I do have some
face.
good ideas every now and again.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, like next week is Salah against Everton away. It's the early game, so you have the Gandhi theory to go against, and Cole Palmer plays the second game of the game week, last game on the Sunday. So, it's closer than you think for me.
We'll discuss that a little bit more later on. But also just want to shout out that we have five more game weeks in December. This is the time of the season. Grab some buds, grab some beers, watch the matches together. To be honest, Wednesday was too much action. I was pumping it straight into my veins. I was trying to do multitasking with having the new multi-view on Peacock, which kudos to them. They finally stepped their shit up and they have 4 games on it.
Finally.
Much better.
That was so necessary.
Much better experience than watching Goal Rush, which has that terrible delay. So if you can put it on the big 65-inch TV, have that going, kudos to them for figuring that out. But I was trying to work. I had a meeting with my SVP, had the games on the background. It was too much. I was like running on adrenaline for too long, especially with Cole Palmer blanking all the way up until like the 75th minute. So, just too much action midweek, boys.
I just want to end and preview the upcoming game week. I think it's time we leave midweek game week 14 and the shambolic nature of the chaos of FPL in the rearview mirror. Now, I just want to tease as we look ahead and just mention that I'm going to be getting together with some buddies in New York City. So if you find yourself in and around New York or Brooklyn and you want to come out and watch Chelsea versus Spurs on Sunday morning, together with a content creator and a mix of Chelsea and Spurs fans, I'm going to be going to the Black Horse. I'll have a table. And if you want to join, just get into my DMs, message us back on social, and would love to see you there for a good old time and 3 points for Chelsea. Let's go.
Plus, Bucks will hand out a few free FPL USA Press Play stickers because we got some holiday cheer to spread around. So hopefully he'll throw one of those on in the bathroom stall and people will check out the podcast.
Of course, it's going on both urinals this time.
Like
Sorry,
it.
Black Horse
Love it.
owners.
All right, boys. So let's preview the matches to come. And let's start off with the early kickoff. Liverpool at the Evertonians. So Everton come away with a 4-0 victory. Let's give 60 seconds to Dan
No,
to
don't want
talk
it.
about
Don't
his
want it
woeful
today.
Wolves. Oh man, that
I-
was putrid. Truly.
Absolutely awful. I really don't want to talk about it today. They were just disgraceful. That was the worst performance I've seen in a long time, and it's time for Gary O'Neill to be sacked. I think.
Yeah, give
that
him,
was an
give him a
awful
sack of
reach.
coal. He's got to go. That's
Yeah.
just reached the point where he's not playing the right formations at all. They're so porous at the back. It's tough. I feel bad for you, mate, to have to endure through these thrashings.
He's an honorary Chelsea fan. I don't feel bad for you. Your second favorite team is second place in the table. It's all
Yeah,
good.
sure. Yeah, that was a must-win game, and now they lost to Everton. I think it's the first time this week that I'm actually worried they're going to get relegated. I
Oh,
really
don't
think
say
it's a
that.
possibility.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Oh, we'll see. Maybe we'll get a new manager bounce in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's very dire straits for your pups for sure. That was a brutal showing. Now, I do think that Everton, now that their defense is fully healthy, they look like they're a real Premier League caliber team now. And I think this is going to be box office at Goodison Park. If the stands were rocking for that Wolves game, probably the best game Goodison has seen this season comfortably. I think this will be the hardest ticket to get in Liverpool this weekend. And I think it's going to be actually a much tighter game than you might think based on their place in the table. I think it's going to be a lot of hard crunching tackles. I think this is 2-1 to the visitors. I think Liverpool have enough quality to get the win, but I don't think this is going to have a goal fest written all over it by any means. What do you guys think?
It depends if Gomez just fucks around again. He was terrible midweek versus Newcastle. So are we expecting more rotation to Capin? I think Trent comes back into the side. He's somebody who I'm very interested in. He had a fantastic couple matches here that really, before I think City and also the Newcastle match, he only had 1 assist. He grabs 2 assists off the pine. He could have easily had a goal versus City. So I think he's looking to be back in his attacking ways, and his EO is less than Van Dijk's at the moment. I'm not sure what that looks like in the top 100K, top 500K in terms of splits, but he's somebody that's definitely top of priority for me coming in for this run. I'm expecting this to be a 2-0 victory for Liverpool.
Yeah, I was going to say 2-0 as well. I do think it will be close. You know, Everton always give Liverpool a good game at Goodison Park, but I think Liverpool are just too good this season. And I'm hoping for a double-digit haul from Trent Alexander-Arnold because I'm someone who's kept him all the way through. So let's hope he repays me before his ownership goes too high.
That's right.
Loyal to a fault.
Yes.
Yeah. Next up, Villa playing Southampton. Differential captaincy could really be on Watkins, who just scored 12 points. He took the penalty that he drew and was definitely an opportune time for him to claim his stake for the armband this upcoming weekend. So what are your guys' thoughts here? Do you have confidence that Morgan Rogers is going to start again? He played 90 minutes midweek, and then they have Leipzig, I think, on Tuesday or Wednesday. So are you starting him, Dan?
I think I'm going to start him, but I'm very, very concerned that he's going to be benched in this game. He played the full 90 minutes, like you said, when other players like Ollie Watkins came off early. And then you had Buendia, who came on towards the end, who I think might get the start over Rodgers at the weekend. So Rodgers is fit for the Champions League. It just makes complete sense to bench him. But I just don't think I can bench him in my FPL team when they're playing Southampton at home. Even if he comes on for a 20-minute cameo, I think that's a good game for him. But I'm definitely nervous. I'd be nervous bringing him in if I didn't already own him.
Yeah, this could be a match where you see Duran start up top next to Watkins.
I think
Watkins gets 60 minutes, and then we see Rodgers come on for Watkins at the 65-minute mark. Like, that could be a scenario that could play out just based on their recent time spent on the pitch. So lots to see there. But if you have any Villa assets like Master Bucks, is this a Pau Torres start? Are you finally going to get some points from this guy?
If it doesn't come this game week, I am throwing him out with the bathwater. The Villa team, their defense has been so questionable. But I think this Saints team, they're comfortably the worst team this season in the Premier League. And if there's ever a get right game for any team and any unit, this Villa team deserves a clean sheet more than most. So I think they're going to win going away 3-0 very comfortably. And I don't think it's a bad shout, like you referenced, each of you, to maybe think about prioritizing bring Watkins in this game week because the Villa fixtures are pretty good. And especially since he's been getting a little bit of rest at the end of these matches, this could be a great place to kind of smash a differential haul.
I do like the Watkins shout, but I think if I was picking an attacker right now in that price bracket, I would go Isak with their fixtures they have. So I think that's a good segue into that game. They are playing Brentford away, and we've seen that Brentford just cannot defend for shit this season. So Newcastle playing Brentford, I think that's a really good game for Isak. I'm jealous of you, Brian, for owning him already.
Definitely hoping for points from the tunes in that one, and especially my prime time Looney Tune, Mr. Isak. He hasn't gotten me any points so far in my starting lineup, so he's due. But more so, they also play, I think, 2 of the 3 promoted teams in the next 2 matches after that. So Isak is a player to bring in, and then I think we're going to talk about Boomo replacements in our hashtag FPL community questions later. But Anthony Gordon is back on the menu potentially as somebody you could bring in for this small stretch here of 3 games, try and spike a few double-digit hauls. So he's a potential Boomo replacement as well.
I think so. They're playing Brentford, and then they're playing Leicester at home, and then they're playing Ipswich away. I don't think Ipswich away is as good of a fixture as people think it is. They seem to play okay away from home, but still, that's 3 great fixtures for Isak for sure.
Tasty.
What do you think, Bucks?
Yeah, I agree. I think Isak is a priority player to target. I think many managers are going to find that it's kind of, are you going for either Isak or Watkins, or are you going for a guy like Van Dijk or Trent? And you kind of have to pick your path and then just commit to it because it's going to be very hard to flip-flop and find the funds to afford both of those players unless you're team value rich like Chin is up there, smugly looking down at us from his high rank. Now, what do we think in the Newcastle match? Because I think Brentford score. When they play at home, they're a much better team. So I know, like, I have Lewis Hall. He's going to be rooted to my bench unless there's more rotation. I think this is maybe 2-2. I don't think there's so much in it between Brentford and Newcastle right now. Do you guys?
3-2. 3-2. I want a goal fest here. They're just so bad defensively, which is surprising. They've been well drilled for a number of seasons in the Premier League, but this season, they just don't have any way to stop other opponents. So I think a 3-2 here would be spicy.
I think it'll be 3-1 to Newcastle.
Ooh, you're seeing more in it. Last game I want to touch on, Brighton at Leicester. This has to be the João Pedro party, right?
No, I don't think so. Got the new manager bounce for Leicester playing at home in front of their home crowd. Brighton have not impressed the last few matches against mid-range opponents. So I don't know about this one. I'm going to start João Pedro, but I don't know about, I fucking brought in the Van Heckening. What was I thinking? The Van Heckening. I could have just had Colwill. I should have grabbed somebody like Kirkez, who's been hauling the last 3 matches. Instead, I got Van Heck, the center back. Fuck. Ugh, disgusts me. Absolutely disgusting. After I've ranted and raved against Brighton for so many episodes, and I brought him in. I'm a fraud. That was a bad move.
I think as good as Van Nistelrooy is, though, he makes them better in attack, Leicester, but I still think they're very weak defensively. And Brighton are a good attack, so I think it's a great game for the Brighton attackers, but I do see Leicester scoring in this game.
You dog, you're rooting against my Verbruggen pick.
This fucking guy, Bucks. You were probably at work and not watching the match, but
I saw the highlights. I almost smashed my headset through my two screens at work. It was ugly.
I mean, just the hope of the clean sheet gone from a passing it right to the opponent like a fucking dildo on Christmas Eve handed to your ex. Oh my goodness, it was brutal.
What?
Wow, shit. I think we need some therapy for those last
Yeah.
15-second clip.
I'm not sure
Yeah,
I've
it
ever
was pretty
given a
bad.
dildo
The
to an
Sisters of
ex.
the Poor. Yeah, the Sisters of the Poor play better defense than Brian does when his ex comes around with the dildo.
Look, I'm a very giving person, looking out for everybody. All right, next up,
Sounds like you're taking too.
Yeah.
Giving and receiving.
That's how I read it.
Yeah.
I
The
said I was
Grinch stole
offering,
Brian's dildo. That's why
I
his
was
rank's so good right now.
offering
He's
it,
not sitting in it.
offering it as an olive branch to the ex because they no longer have me, and therefore they need something to get on with their life. So let's talk about
That's
Spurs
not what
at
was
Chelsea.
detailed on your OnlyFans, right, Black Wolf?
Oh, there we go. There it
Ah.
is.
There it is. OF, OF. Okay, so Spurs, Chelsea. Bucks, talk to me about this Chelsea team. They are purring. They are humming. 3-1 Chelsea. Could they do this in London, or is it going to be a little bit cage or maybe a 2-1 Chelsea victory?
3. I think it's going to be 4-1 to the visitors. And I think actually, based on some of the texts I'm getting from my friends that are very diehard Spurs fans, Ange might be approaching his limit here. That was an extremely frustrating performance they had today. And yeah, I just think Bournemouth, they blew the doors off Spurs. And yeah, Ange might be in trouble. He doesn't have a set piece coach. He doesn't believe in defense. And yet he's playing in the league that kind of thrives on both those things. So, Dan, interested in your perspective.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. But something I took from this game was Ben Davis came off injured and it did not look good. So they're already without Romero, they're without Van der Ven, and now it looks like they might be without Davis as well. And then after the game, Ange, when he was interviewed, they said, "Are you going to sign defenders in January?" And he said, "Well, that's not going to help us on Sunday against Chelsea, is it?" So I think he's kind of scared of his defense against Chelsea as well. So I'm seeing 4 goals in this for Chelsea. I agree with you.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a drubbing. I actually don't think it's going to be so close, which is why I'm going to be planting myself in a Spurs bar wearing all my Chelsea gear. I'll
You
be
know what?
very smug.
The thing about Spurs is though, it'll be typical Spurs for them to come away from this game with a 2-0 victory or something. I can't read these guys whatsoever.
True roller coaster type of team. Entertaining for sure,
Yeah.
because you never know what you're going to get week to week from them. They could lose to Ipswich and then beat Man City. So it's pretty crazy. But let's transition here because we got a quick episode. Let's head to our hashtag FPL community questions and the mailbag. Bucks, start us off here with a funny question from friend of the show. Mr. Steinberg asks, how do you deal with FPL pain? Do you take Advil or Tylenol? I mean, my answer would be Vicodin or something stronger, at least a
Yeah,
couple
you
of
need something
glasses of whiskey.
stronger.
Yeah. OxyContin.
The rotation
We-
was insane this week, though. So I know a lot of managers were getting a lot of 1-pointers off their bench. Hopefully, we won't have that for a few matches, but it is the season of rotation.
Yeah, in weeks like this, you've just got to laugh because it happens to everyone. It's not like you're the only person who's getting your team rotated. I'm pretty sure every single person that I saw on social media had at least 2 players rotated. So I just think it's kind of funny. Just have a good bench. That's the takeaway from this.
Yeah, you got to laugh so you don't cry sometimes. And this midweek was one of those moments. So hopefully your team in real life won as opposed to Dan's pups who, they got neutered in a very bad way.
Get out of here.
Youch, youch. All right. At FPL Masala, aka Nihal, asks, who are the best Boomo replacements? This is a very pressing time because this guy started the season off so hot, and since then has taken 1 shot in 5 matches. Absolutely insane. I cannot believe the cliff that he's fallen off of. So, what are you guys thinking? I think all 3 of us own Boomo. What's the plan?
I don't own him anymore.
Ooh,
He's already out. I took him out
Whoa,
before
you
price
cheeky
changes
bastard.
yesterday. Yeah.
boy.
But in terms of Nihal's question, I think it depends on if you're upgrading elsewhere. So for me, I'm just going to tell you right now, I know we're doing team reveals later, but I wanted Saka. So in order to get Saka, I had to really downgrade Boomo. And my only options were in the 5 million range. So I was looking at people like Rodgers and Semenyo and players like that. But if you already have Saka in place, which I know Nihal does, then he's looking at a Boomo replacement around the same price. So I'm liking the likes of Matoma maybe for that position.
Potentially, I think there's other shouts like going with Bowen. He had a monster game and ends up with a blank, but he definitely could have gotten a double-digit haul. He's somebody that I think we're waiting for a new manager bounce there as well, right? Like they gotta get rid of Lapategui, whatever his name is. He's got to go.
Gordon's a good replacement.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
I
say, I
definitely
think
like
you kind
Gordon.
of have to go down in price though. That's what I'm taking away because I think there's gonna be elsewhere upgrades you want to make in most teams. So I like the idea of going for like a cheap enabler. But if you're going up, I know everyone's on the Bowen train, but I really like the idea of going just back to another Liverpool attacker like Luis Diaz. Um, I don't think a lot of managers are tripled up on Liverpool right
He's
now.
expensive though. When you're talking about going down, he's very expensive.
Yeah,
So I mean, yeah,
he's 0.2 million less than Mbomo is right now. So he's still a slight downgrade.
Well, not
And
if you
then
count it, not if you take into account selling value.
yeah, because most people had Boomo in game week
Yeah.
3 or something like that. So anyway, but yeah,
that's fair.
I
That's
hear
fair.
you. I hear you on the shout for Luis Diaz. He could come back in the fold. Drew a lot of defensive marking from the tune, so he could be a player. But I think when we look at the players that have avenues to points, that's why I kind of like Gordon in that slot, because if everybody goes down and tries to free up funds, Gordon is sitting there as a differential for 3 weeks who's going to be on a few set pieces. That's something Matoma is not on at all, right? So he only has open play threat, and he's only scored a few goals over the last season really at home. So I don't know, just throwing out some love for AGO, the lad.
I like that shout. Matoma isn't really someone who hauls. He just steadily returns. So I rate that if you're chasing some big spikes in
Yeah, and
points.
it's really too bad that the Manchester United team is so up and down in terms of the new mate trying to find his lineup of choice, because there could be some picks there, but yeah, I don't think you can go with somebody like Rashford quite yet, right?
Agreed, agreed. Or a mod. I think it's too risky at this point with all the fixtures coming.
Next question we have is from
Where are these questions?
at my Cayman fan, aka Matt. He wants to know, which do you prefer, double Arsenal defense and no Liverpool defender, or one Arsenal and one Liverpool defender? So these are the top 2 defenses in the entire league, right? So what are your guys' thoughts here? Is it time for Trent? Is it time for Van Dijk? What are we thinking?
Yeah, I think one of each. If they're your 2 options, I think one of each for sure. You have to have a Liverpool defender, I feel, purely just to cover their EO. And I personally prefer Trent for the upside, but if you want someone who's nailed for 90 minutes every game, then Virgil van Dijk's the one to go for. And he will get the odd 15-pointer from a bullet header. You've seen that in the games recently.
Yeah, it certainly helps that Connor Bradley is out for a number of game weeks, so you expect Trent to keep playing at least 65 minutes. I don't see him playing a lot of full 90s due to his recent injury and that recovery, but he looks like he's going to be linking up with Salah for more points, and you want to have a couple of those free kick opportunities that you get with Trent from time to time as well to bang in a goal. So definitely I would go there, but would you bring in Timber, or who's that other Arsenal defender? Timber looks hot. He scores the goal, 14-pointer. Saliba gets a goal off of his ass, off of that big booty. It was funny. I was reading Fantasy Football Scout. They said it went off his rib cage. I was like, hell no, that went off of his ass.
That was off his French booty for sure.
Yeah, off of his juicy French peach.
Do they have peaches in France? I'm sure they do.
Oh yeah, peaches and some nice cheese. I'm sure they got some kind of combo.
Yeah, I don't know. Timber is a favorite for a lot of people, and he does have the attacking threat from down the wing. But I would probably stick with one of the centre backs. I think I'm boring that way because they're so good at set pieces, Arsenal. Saka whipping in that ball. Gabriel looks like he's going to score every game, so I would still go there.
Yeah, if he played, he probably would have scored a goal versus United, given their marking problems. All right, next up, also from at Barrister FPL, he wanted to know what are the defenders other than Arsenal worth using a transfer on? And that was a question that Nihal was wondering for. Best defenders under 5 million. So we're excluding Liverpool, excluding Arsenal. Quick take here. Any guys stand out? I think Kirkez is one for me who is just in a good vein of form, and Bournemouth are a plucky team. He's contributed a couple assists, a goal this season. They just got a clean sheet versus the lowly Spuds. So he's somebody that you could look at. Anybody else catching your eyes?
Yeah, I mean, maybe even go back to Gvardiol. I know a lot of people went off him, but their fixtures are going to turn soon. So, he's actually become a little bit of a differential.
I mean, he's expensive though. He's expensive, right? So if you're going to take your Boomo money out of midfield, it's hard to go back there because he's like 6'1", 6'2". He did have a one-on-one goal opportunity, but he missed it.
It's slim pickings out there for defenders. It really is. Pick anyone. Honestly, it's like pick someone who starts and plays.
Ryan's guy.
Nah, they got terrible transfers, so or terrible matches coming up. Yeah, other 4.5 defenders. I think Colwill at Chelsea just got his rest. Chelsea just look like they're going to have so much ball possession. So he's somebody who I expect to play 90% of their matches. 4.5. He's pretty cheap. But yeah, it's just like you want to start 3 guys. You can rotate them however you want. As long as you have one Arsenal guy and one Liverpool guy and then a decent keeper, I think you're set, and just get 2 4-5s and rotate those guys. So yeah, it's not one that you're expecting to spike a lot of points. That's for sure.
I like Colwill though. I forgot about him. I think he's a good option. That's a cheap price for. I know Chelsea concede goals, but they have an amazing fixture run for so long, so you might as well pick him and hope for the home game clean sheet.
You could look at the Butcher. Who's that little Martinez guy on the Devils? He's somebody who's he's going to be 2 or 6. I think that's the thing. Like, I don't see him getting any bonus really, but they have kept a number of clean sheets this season. I think they've had 5 out of 14 game weeks, so not bad. A lot more than the teams that I currently have in my sides, like Wolves and Brighton. So under the radar pick.
I'd be slightly nervous about picking Colwill, especially this game week, because I think this is one of the harder matches from a defensive perspective for Chelsea in the next run, and he's sitting on 4 yellow cards. So there's a chance you wouldn't want to play him against Spurs here, and then he might miss the next game also. So just word to the wise there.
Good shout. Good shout. I was not aware of his naughty play on the pitch. All right, next up, we have a question from at FPL_Hunt, aka Connor. He wants to know what to do with Wood. Should I start him over Mazraoui or bench him? And then friend of the show, Corey, aka Run CMC, he also wants to know, is it time to twist off Wood? Wow, Corey, that was very sexual a question. Keep that for our DMs, buddy. Yeah, what's your read on Chris Wood here? Is it time to sell him?
I think it's a bit of a luxury transfer selling Chris Wood. If it's
this
a
is the
luxury
best
transfer
fixture for Forest. They're playing against Man City defense.
Man United.
Oh, even better. He's definitely going to score a goal.
I don't know. To answer Connor's question, though, I think I would start Wood. Go for the upside of that 9-pointer. If he gets 1 goal, he's going to get 9 points.
One penalty, right? That happened a few weeks ago versus Ipswich, right? He delivered the 9-pointer off of 1 pen. So exactly. I don't see Mazraoui probably spiking anywhere close to that.
The thing is that just that if Man United do keep a clean sheet, Mazraoui is usually in and around the bonus points if they don't get many goals. So, he could get an 8-9 pointer himself. So it's pretty close, but I think I would go for Chris Wood just because it's more exciting playing an attacker, I feel.
Yeah, why would you want to play any more than the minimum amount of defenders this season
exactly.
Of FPL? It's been a graveyard of not getting any points.
All right. Our last question is from @Hella_FPL, aka the other Brian, who we did meet in San Francisco once upon a time at the bar. He wants to know, is Enzo a good shout to enable Trent? And then I would start him or possibly bench him for Rogers. So, Bucks, let's go to you, Mr. Blues Clues. What's your read on 4.9 million Enzo Fernandez? I was watching the lads over at FPL Black Box, and Enzo is, I think, 7th in total XGI for midfielders over the last 4 matches. So he's trickling in some points here, but is his spot secure? Would you want to start him ever?
If I knew he was for sure playing as a dual number 10 alongside Palmer, I think he's a brilliant pick. 4.9 million. Safe to say right now, Chelsea have the best attack in the league, even better than Liverpool. So I know that's a
Oh,
little bit
wow.
biased, but that's
very,
A
very
little
hold on,
biased.
I'm citing the Analyticos as well as the eye test. They have the best XG by a pretty wide margin, and they're not getting saved every game week by the super heroics of Mo Salah. So I think Enzo is cooking. Now, whether Enzo Fernandez is a viable FPL pick, I just think that there's going to be the odd rotation, and then he's potentially going to be dropped to play DM alongside Caicedo more often. So I just think it's too risky. I would rather have Ahmad because I feel like he's more certain to get minutes under the new manager, even though there's less upside there. So I don't know. I feel like there's a better Chelsea triple.
Interesting. I
I think
don't know.
I'd rather
Ahmad
have
is one
Colwill.
who,
I would rather have Colwill than Enzo.
sure, that's not related to the question at all. So we'll
It
disagree
is
with
because
that.
you can only have 3 from each team. So I think the ideal Chelsea triple up is Nico Jackson, Palmer, and Colwill, as opposed to going triple attack.
With that being said, to enable Trent, look, if this is a guy that you're not going to play at all, you could just go to Dibbling, go down to 4.5, have him be your 8th attacker, and try and spread some of that money around a little bit more. I think we're going to see a lot of managers trying to pump more money into their front line. And, Holland's been in bad form, but once City turn around, they're going to have a good run of fixtures starting around game week 18. So I'm actually starting to earmark that as a time where I might want to just consider bringing him back in. So I need to have a lot of funds for that. So I'm personally, Brian, thinking about the same moves and getting Trent into my side and downgrading Boomo. So I'm looking for that cheap enabler as well. So let's transition to transfer plans and captaincy shouts. And I'll just continue the banter here. I have 5.3 million to get a Boomo replacement. So I'm between Ahmad, Enzo, Dibbling, and going back to Morgan Rogers, who I sold earlier in the season. This would be my 8th attacker. I have Semenyo, who I could rotate him with, and João Pedro, but I'm really excited to get Trent, and I think I'm going to go Mikolenko to Trent, and that just is going to feel so good for my defense to shore that up. So 2 free transfers. I don't know who the pick is yet. I'm still trying to figure that out, but I guess I have one day, and then we'll bring somebody in. But hopefully getting some more funds into my side would be beneficial. So I might just go all the way down to Dibbling and just roll out the lads.
Just to let you know, whilst we're recording, Salah, Palmer, Jackson, João Pedro, and Mad all rose in price.
Oh,
So, yes. So Ahmad is now 5 million, not 4.9.
Ooh, cruel.
don't
He
like
was on
that.
my wish list. Oh no. Who's going to be your captain, Brian?
Right now, captaincy is on Salah. Haven't thought about it too much. I'm not really scared off by the early game week starting captaincy for him, just due to the fact that his EO is going to be so high. When it's a closer 50-50 shout, then maybe I go with somebody later in the game week, but I think he's going to be 135% EO this upcoming game week. So I'm just going to roll with him, and hopefully my other differentials in the team like Isak and Trent will deliver the goods.
I guess I'll go next. No, everyone can just quickly hit the fast forward button if you don't want bad advice.
No.
Um,
You got 3 free transfers, Bucks. This is sexy. You can make 4 moves with a -4. I mean, this is basically a mini wild card territory for you. So I'm excited. I love the tinker
Yeah.
time with you.
Well, I was tempted actually going into today to just roll, but watching that Spurs performance, I think Solanke probably is a player that I need to get rid of, and Trent is looking very appealing, someone I need to prioritize bring in. So I think similar to you, Brian, I'm leaning towards Dibbling in and Trent in, and I would be moving off Rico Lewis, the fraud, and Mbomo for 2 moves, and then hopefully I'll have a couple more transfers banked between now and when I need to bring Holland in. I will be captaining. Right now, Palmer has the armband in my bus team. I see no reason to swap that. I think that would be a little points chasing. I have Salah, and he continues to punish me, even though I have him in my team already. Um, but I will be steadfast and stubborn like I am in real life. So Palmer's going to be my captain.
I'm
How
curious.
about you,
Like,
Dan?
you said you were gonna. You originally said you were gonna move off Solanke, but then when you talked about your moves, you didn't mention Solanke. So are you actually
So
keeping him?
I actually my plan was just to roll the transfer. To be perfectly honest, I was gonna bench Solanke and just play Mbomo at home. But I just feel like he's not getting the points, and at some point I need to be bucks wild and just go for it. So I think that's what's changing my attitude a little
Mm.
bit. And also just seeing that Trent, he got his rest. He's now probably fully nailed for the festive run. And the fixtures just look so delicious for Liverpool. And I got to give them credit. They're pretty comfortably the best team in the league. I think that's hard to argue against.
Can
So
you
they
get
will flip on a
Solanke?
banana peel.
Can you
Sorry.
get Solanke up, like up to Isak or anybody interesting?
I could, but then I won't be able to get Trent, let alone Verge. So I'm just balancing my preferences right now.
So who are you moving Solanke to? I missed that. I thought you were doing Boomo to Dibbling
No,
and
I'm
then
saying I have
Lewis to
three
Alexander Arnold.
players. I have 3 players that are problematic. I have bad defenders. I have Boomo, and then I have Solanke. So I could just do all 3 moves, but I think probably pragmatic is either to do no moves or just do 2 moves. So that's what I'm weighing up right
Rip the
now.
band-aid straight off and get a good guy in there. I don't know.
Well, Solanke has Southampton
He
next
has
week.
Southampton next week, so that's it's kind
Oh,
of like
okay.
sticky in my craw that I can't move him just yet.
I forgot about that. All right, let's end
What do you
on Dan.
think? Dan,
What's
what's
the
your
word?
move?
So I actually made early transfers, and I made my transfers yesterday before price changes because I would have
Wow,
been
before
priced.
the end of the game week too. Risky business.
I did my moves before all of the Wednesday games. That's how risky I did it because I needed to make my moves. Otherwise, I'd have been priced out. If I tried to make them today, it wouldn't have happened. So I swapped Bruno Fernandes and Mbumo to Semenyo and Saka because I really need Saka. He was like 95% EO and I didn't have him. Even his 3-pointer was enough to tank my rank. So if he would have done
Oh
anything,
no.
I'd have been screwed. So
Wow.
I need him in my team. So I've made those 2 moves for 2 free transfers. So my only decisions this week are: do I play Diogo Dallo or Rico Lewis? Like Dallo makes more sense, but I have a feeling he's going to be rotated because he played the full game against Arsenal. And then my other decision is: do I play Wisa, Rogers, or Solanke? I have to play 2 of those. Right now I'm on Rogers and Wisa, benching Solanke, but I'm not sure Rogers or Wisa are going to get the starts. So,
Oof.
yeah, it's kind of rough. But, whatever. I think I'm just going to play Wisa and Rogers and just hope for the best.
Yeah, Southampton they're abysmal. So you just hope you fall ass backwards into some points there, right?
Yeah, and Wisa, Newcastle at home, I think that's a good fixture for him. He looks really good. He looks really attacking. A lot more threatening than Mbumo has done. So
Oh,
I
for
don't
sure.
mind playing him. If I knew he was playing 75 plus minutes, then it's a no-brainer to start him for me. I'm just concerned he's going to be on the bench, and Thiago is going to get a start in this game. I don't know.
Ooh. Who's going to be the captain, Dan?
Right now it's on Salah for the reasons that Brian said, but I am super, super tempted to switch it to Palmer. I just don't think it's. I'll go there because I'm an EO whore.
Among other things.
Yeah, you know it. You know it.
All right, let's get out of here. Thanks very much for tuning in to our podcast. We look forward to more Green Arrows on the weekend. You can find us at FPL USA Press Play on Blue Sky and on Instagram and on X. Anything else to add, boys?
The games are coming thick and fast. Just enjoy it, I think, and just embrace the madness of December.
Set your lineups and have fun, because it's not about the FPL pain. It's about the fun that we're having while we're punishing ourselves.
That's quite the mantra from you, Bucks. We love to see it.
Yeah.
All right.
Whilst
See you
we
soon.
leather.
On the OnlyFans stream. Oh boy. Oh boy.
As long as it's not yellow, the Wolves yellow, then you know you're getting
Gold.
beaten.
Gold, Bucks.
It's lost its shine this season, baby.
Yeah, it's
Let's
like
get the fuck out of here.
it's like that yellow is like rotten
real.
mustard. Rotten mustard. You don't want to smell that or see that anywhere.